I'm Nicole on Twins Realty Team, and you are? I'm Cherie with Twins Realty Team, and I do the money in every transaction. That's me. That's her. And we got a special guest today. Yep, it's Clarissa, and we want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and just tell us about yourself.
Hi guys, so I'm Clarissa. I am the sales manager over at Kiella Home Builders. I've been in sales for just about almost 8 years now, and prior to that I was at Air Force working Intel, so I worked with F-15s and F-16s.
Wait, she skipped that. She went by that very quickly. I mean, we need to talk about this. So you are a Air Force veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you served how long?
6 years.
Okay, I knew that, but I don't think everybody knows that, and I think everybody should know that. I actually think, like, if I had served, I'd be walking around with a cape, a flag cape. Every day I'd be walking around with my cape on. And so I think that's so important, and I think it's amazing when somebody sacrifices time, their life. It's a big deal. So, okay. You said how many years again? 6. Okay, 6 years. Okay, so sales manager at Kiella, superhero,
and mom.
Yes.
And mom, yes.
Okay.
So Liam, he just turned 2, and Aspen is going to turn 11 on Sunday. She's 11, going on 20.
Yes.
So
buckle up.
Yeah, I'm trying, but it really started back when she was 8, and I'm like, eventually she's going to get better. And we're here, and I'm trying to master it.
Yeah, that's a tricky age, and I feel like one day you'll look back at it. I'm not sure when, but one day you're gonna look back and think, like, okay, we did it, we made it through, and it was great. But just buckle up, and that's all I can tell you. Mine is old. She's actually, I think, about to be 20, she's thinking about that.
20.
Yeah, she's thinking about she's going to be
20.
Yeah, you started because it's also a reflection of my age. So I really don't want to go into it. I still have a kid, okay? So that's what we need to know. She's still out there. She's older. And anyways, and now I look back at it when she was 12, and I thought that was nuts when she was 12, and now she's older, and I'm like, you think about all the things ahead of her. Like, okay, she's now going to be an adult. What's going to happen? Is everything going to be okay? Is her, I guess you think about that forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
When middle school starts next year, which is like a huge life transition, and with your daughter, she went to college, so that was a huge transition for you too, and all of us moms.
Yeah, it's just a progression of transitions. I guess we get bigger, and then when they get married and have kids, blah blah blah. But Nicole, your daughter is, or my niece is the one you like. Not the one I like. I have 2. I have 2 nieces. You have 2. I like both of them. Okay. So yes, as moms, it's just a hard thing to do, to kind of keep all of our emotions together, and just embrace all of the things that we have to do on a daily basis. And then we throw real estate into that, and that emotional drama. So we got 12-year-olds, we got 20-year-olds, we got 6-year-olds with drama. I mean, does it end? I do have a 6-year-old. And she keeps me on my toes. And my 12-year-old, she's in 7th grade, and or she's going to 7th grade. So, but she's doing great, and I enjoy that part of it. But back to business, we want to talk to Clarissa about Kiella, not just specifically Kiella, but home buying, the home buying process, and new homes and existing homes and subdivisions and all those things. And so I have a few questions that I would like to ask you that are, I think that are important. Let's see here. As during the buying process, let's just say I wanted to build a custom home. Would you consider y'all a custom builder?
I think we're semi-custom. We use the term personalization versus custom. So we allow our home buyers, and most new construction home builders allow their buyers to customize to a certain extent. We basically take a floor plan of their choosing, and we can make small adjustments, like extending out the patio, or fixing up the front porch, and moving some walls here and there, and then of course all of their color chart customizations, like their tile and their backsplash. Flooring is a big one. Yeah, well, slightly.
Okay, well that's a pretty big deal, moving walls, and that's a big change. even if it's a little bit. I mean, that can put a king into a queen, you know, or vice versa. And then, but also, I think what I've been seeing a lot lately is the master bathroom and having the walk-in shower.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of my clients have now moved from doing the bathtub and just doing a walk-in shower. So I've seen a lot of y'all's homes lately have that walk-in shower. It's a really good size, and a lot of my clients have liked that. But y'all, that is something that y'all can do. Is that something that they would need to make that change early in the process, or could it be later in, or how does that work?
Yeah, good question. So it has to be done before framing. And with new construction homes, you really have to take into consideration the whole process. So even before a home gets built, we need to know those specifications so we can build accordingly. We call that process a to be built, which I think most builders do. But basically, we figure out those customizations before we break ground, so we know how to, pour the foundation correctly and things like that.
Because all those things really matter, and you may think it's as the consumer, you may think it's a minor change, but it adds up very quickly from every piece of the construction. Where your plumbing goes, where the framing goes, all those different things matter. So those few inches, it makes sense that you have to kind of do that at the very beginning of the process. But I think people also, as far as personalizing the home, when you say custom, I think people get onto Pinterest and they get onto all these different sites, and it's like, you can go nuts. And listen, even if you're a billionaire, you still have to have a budget, and you still have to kind of know where, how much money you're going to spend. And Pinterest is nice, and all those websites are nice, but a lot of times they're not realistic, and you can get into a rabbit hole of trying to customize something that you really, if you would just build a house, you're gonna love it. And Kiella built a beautiful home, and you'll love it at the end. Just sit back and relax and let them take over. Colors and things like that, not a big deal, but they've been in business for a long time, so I think they got it. They do have it now. How about your build time? What is your build time if someone was? A lot of times people are in leases. And so we have to work around that lease time. So maybe an existing home isn't something that will work for their timeline. But as far as y'all's build time, what does that look like for y'all if they were going to be a to be built?
I would say from like our smallest floor plan, you're looking around 5 or 6 months, up to our largest floor plan, probably 10 months, 10, 11 months. Of course, there's so much that goes into a timeline, especially with weather these days. Weather can kick us back, logistics can kick us back. So we try and anticipate all of those things. No one's got a crystal ball, but we try and set the expectations up front for the buyer.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part, is having the expectations of how long we're projecting this to be, but you have to be flexible because of weather, summer, whatever the case may be. Weather is always going to be a factor. Contractors are going to be a factor, but again, because y'all have been in this community for such a long time, those contractors are top notch, and you can make those things usually fall into place, but there's pieces that you can't control. So I think we have to consider those things. Yeah. And also, I think another big thing is warranties, and who we talk to in regards to warranties. I know every builder is a little different, but I believe there's like a 1-year home warranty, a 10-year structural warranty, things like that. But as far as y'all, what does y'all's warranties look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, one thing to me kind of sets us apart from resales is we always have a 1-year craftsmanship warranty. So like if your flooring or your tiles start having issues, that's craftsmanship, or most likely craftsmanship. A 2-year plumbing and HVAC, which if you register some of your products, it can extend the lifeline of that. And then a 10-year structural, so things like foundation.
That's a big deal, because I think as a lot of first-time home buyers, Kiella has a price point of the lowest. I say the price point is what, $280?
Yeah, $282.
Okay, so those are usually going to be our first-time home buyer people, and that's a big deal, because you guys usually don't have that money just offhand if something were to break, or AC. I mean, we are in Texas, and so that could happen. And when you are purchasing a resale, if the AC breaks, I mean, you may have some type of warranty there, but it's not going to be the one that you get when you get a brand new home. And cracking of anything sounds like a big deal.
Yeah.
So if you're at in a resale, you're not going to get those luxuries. So a great idea to think about as a first time home buyer, not to including. I mean, I am the money person here,
we need to hear a little bit about you.
You know, so not only is buying a brand new home good for those types of things, structural issues and things like that, but also because of the incentives that are being offered as far as interest rate buy downs when you are looking at a resale. You guys just the resale people just don't have the ability to get interest rates where builders do, and so it's a big deal because that could save you hundreds of dollars monthly, not including thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. So that's something also to consider, whether you're buying your first home or you're buying your 10th home. Interest rate matters all the time.
I have another question in regards to subdivisions. Now, some of the questions I know the answers to, but in your perspective, I'd like to get a little bit of feedback from you. What is one of the most popular subdivisions in the Temple Belton area?
Ooh. I would have to say Parks at Westfield is a pretty hot one. Not just because of the price point, but the location. I mean, I think Parks at Westfield is it's phenomenal. It's just off of West Adams. You can walk to food, healthcare, shopping if you wanted to. And I would say the next one would probably be the Grove at Lakewood Ranch, which are two different ends of the spectrum. But
price points
so price point in Parks of Westfield, if you off the top of your head, maybe if you know an address that maybe someone can look up real quick just to get an address and see where that home would be located in.
I think 8019 Pine Ridge. I think that's right. That's one of the homes that we have available over there.
Okay, 8019 Pine Ridge. And price point, a range, is it around 280? Is that the price point there, or 3?
I would think so. We have two different floor plans on that street right now. The Longhorn, which is a 282 price point, and then if it's in Montgomery, it would be in the 310 price point.
Okay, that's a good price
point.
It's
very manageable. I mean,
if we can get a payment, what would the payment look like?
Forget me.
We're just putting people on the spot.
I'm gonna flip it and put you on the spot.
No, it's a rapid fire question.
No. I would have to do some more research. I hate for our viewers to get misled. Yes, I do not want to commit to a payment because y'all will hold my feet to the fire, and then somebody will call and be like, "Cherie said," and then it's not gonna be good. So, but
you can get a good interest rate.
Yes. Hands down, all day, twice on Sunday. Not a phenomenal, best out there. Let's go.
I mean, really, honestly, it is the best out there and comparable to other builders. Also, it's a fixed interest rate, so it's not a buy down or anything like that. It is a fixed rate for 30 years.
It's not a temporary buy down. It is a buy down, but it is a permanent fixed rate for 30 years. Mm-hmm. So we do have flexibility with that as well. I mean, there are options, and we just, we got to. We don't want to limit ourselves,
Buyer flexibility is everything right now. We have to cut. It used to be at one point, from my understanding, a very cut and dry situation, whereas now we really have to tailor to the buyer's needs.
Yeah, and that's why we say buy now. If you are in the market and you're thinking about it, the consumer out there that says, I'm waiting for the interest rate to fall, you're going to waste thousands of dollars by doing that. And so you can talk to people that bought when around COVID time and interest rates were 2.5. I think that was the lowest I gave, was a 2.5 interest rate. But I can tell you that person also paid probably $30,000 over asking. They had to pay their own closing costs. Yes. I mean, they competed with multiple people. Probably had multiple offers out there on different homes. I mean, and if you were a VA, I mean, gosh, you're went to the bottom. I had to be really creative writing offers.
Yeah.
So I had to be super creative, but we did it. But it was hard. But that's not the situation now for consumers. Yeah, it's the time to buy. If you can talk to
if you have 5 minutes, I could give you, call me and I will tell you the advantages of buying now versus later. We can do the math. I can. It's the time. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Parks at Westfield, we
Mhm.
got that one down, and then the next one is the Groves at
Oh,
Lakewood.
yes.
I love the Groves.
Everybody loves that it's zoned for Lakewood Elementary, which is a phenomenal school from what I understand. All of our communities, except for Hartrick Ranch, which is an Academy ISD, all of our other subdivisions are in Temple. Belton ISD.
Belton ISD. Yeah, Temple address is in Belton.
The best of both worlds. You get a little bit of both, and I feel like we do a lot of military customers in these areas, in Lakewood, Ranch, those areas, because we have people. I mean, what is it, like 30 minutes to Fort Hood? I think it's not too far. And so those people that are in Killeen or Harker Heights, and you're thinking about Temple's too far, it is not too far. Look up our school districts. Drive the community, and you can see. I mean, it's just such a everybody. You see flags out on their on their front porch. You see kids playing in the street. It's just such a hometown feel when you drive in this area in general. And I think both of those communities are great places to live.
Okay, I have this other question for you. It is in regards to subdivision as well. Your most underrated subdivision?
Ooh, Hartrick Ranch, for sure. I love being able to go out to Hartrick Ranch and just enjoying the peaceful drive of it. When you think of moving to Texas, you want open space, you want land, you want the biggest bang for your buck, and Hartrick Ranch is it.
Yeah, I don't think that, because it is kind of, I want to say off the beaten path, but because it is close to Scott and White, it's close to Academy ISD. I mean, it's just, there's so many things that are very in its vicinity, but
the drive is nice. I really do like the drive, and it is 10 minutes from Scott and White, so close to HEB, close to all the things, but you get to go off the beaten path a little bit and enjoy the drive. So Hartrick Ranch is the most underrated, and their price point. What's their price point there?
That one starts as low as $285 and then goes up to, I believe, $310. And I misspoke earlier on the Westfield. Parks at Westfield goes up to $317. I was thinking of Hartrick but Hartrick goes up to $310.
Okay, so still good price points. It's low and very manageable. Okay, so those are my questions at the moment. Go ahead. Do you have any for Ms. Clarissa?
Okay, so I want to know, what do you think is up and coming in the building industry? Do you feel like our market is about to shift? Do you feel any big changes coming along?
For a while there, especially during COVID, we noticed like multi-generational families. So I'm excited to see what happens there, because I don't know if we've maybe you guys have seen something similar of how do I want to say this? Like multiple families living under one roof. Whether it's grandparents or aunts or uncles, and they need a bigger home to accommodate the amount of people. But I wonder what that's going to look like.
In the upcoming months, years to come. I have seen, just because affordability is tough, is that you need multiple people in a home to be able to afford the house payment in general. So I feel like I have seen, as the lender, have seen more people having co-signers. And before it was kind of, oh, absolutely not. I can't co-sign. I won't do it. I will not. But now it's kind of like families need each other. So it's like, okay, yes, my aunt's going to live here. My grandma's going to live here, or what have you. So you do have multiple generations living under one household. And that is because they can't afford it separately. Is my opinion. Not only is there the need of, maybe I need to take care of my mom or my grandma or something like that, but also because they just don't want to live in an apartment and they want to get into a home. So, I've just seen an influx of that happening recently. It's just more people, and I don't think that will change. I don't think we will see suddenly, our average pay go up or anything. I'm thinking is where it's going to be at for a little bit. So I think we'll be seeing more of that. Yep, I do. I think that will happen. So, okay, that's a good topic there. As far as military incentives and things like that y'all offer at Kiella? I mean, I know that because we are doing a lot of buy downs and things like that with our interest rates and things like that, but I know that y'all offer some other incentives there. I guess that would basically be up to the real estate agent or case by case basis, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know how tight our military members are on money. I was actually a single mom during the later part of my enlistment. And so I get it. I get going, having $20 to your name right before payday on the 1st and the 15th of the month. So when I stepped into my role, I implemented $500 earnest money for our military members. And that goes for veterans too. Mm-hmm. But I totally get the struggles of our service members. I mean, they're between TDYs and professional development and deployments and not knowing when your home goods is going to arrive, so you don't really have a closing date firm that you can count on. So I think I try and be as flexible as humanly possible.
Yeah, I get to say when I talk to our military customers is that our sales manager is prior military, and it just, to me, it changes the conversation because they know somebody's there to relate with them. And so I like to be able to say that, and I think they then understand, hey, there's somebody on my side, and so it's a big deal to have somebody also represent you. If you're a real estate agent is there, but you also know that the home builder, themselves, because you represent Kiella, is also going to bat for you, and they know the real life struggle that it is being a military member. So we typically, we're turning and burning when we get these contracts, and I think, because that like you said, you get orders and you gotta rock and roll. And so we try to close our loans within 21 days. If you get a contract and you're ready to buy a house, and we're gonna get you in that house in 21 days. And I think Kiella, me and Clarissa were talking, and we're just like, okay, we're gonna get the superintendent to do this, and this, and it's gonna roll. Right. We're not gonna have no problem about closing in time. So if we have military customers out there, we want them to feel comfortable that we're gonna close them. We're gonna get you in a home, and we're gonna do, like Clarissa said, anything humanly possible, for us to make things work and make you feel comfortable about that. And I've seen it time and time again, and, I'm thinking, hey, this is tight, I'm just not sure if it's going to work. And I'll call Clarissa and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. Let's do it, and so that's exciting to be able to partner, with them to know that, you got somebody in your corner that is trying to make things work. And so it's been a great.
Well, it's good that you have everybody on the same team of getting everybody to the closing table with people. As far as in the construction process, if you have a close date, the superintendent knows about it, and they're working hard to get there to the closing date. And y'all have walkthroughs, blue tape walkthroughs. What I have noticed during the blue tape walkthrough is that y'all have pretty much completed all the things that before us, the buyer's agent or my client goes in there, most of the work's already done. So we don't really have to do a lot of blue tape. Y'all have already got that house
looking.
Can I
share a secret?
Yeah.
Yes. You want to know how we do that?
Let's hear it.
So we have Eileen, who is our warranty coordinator, and she has been phenomenal. One of the things that we started implementing a couple of years ago, she goes to the house and blue tapes prior to the homeowner orientation or the blue tape walk. And we get that head start, so that way the buyer, when they do come in for their appointment, it's not walking into a wall full of blue tape. Nobody wants that. You're already stressed. You're a week out from closing. So we get a jump start, and we try and blue tape everything that we notice, or that Eileen, the warranty coordinator, notices, and
now that makes sense. That makes sense, because I have seen other, builder walkthroughs, and you go through them things, and they're like, bring your roll. I'm not lying. Bring the whole roll.
I've seen people have 3 rolls of tape.
And
one for the agent, one for the buyer, and one for the builder. And so that's kind of concerning. I will definitely say this definitely alleviates the stress on everyone, because it also puts stress on the agent to find all the things. Well, of course, this isn't our first walkthrough on a new build, right? So if y'all have already done that and kind of dotting your I's and crossing your T's, that makes it a lot less stressful and a a nice process,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
for them
good.
to walk through and actually see their home and not look at a wall full of blue tape, you know. So I think y'all are doing
Yeah,
good.
and who has time for a wall of, or a house full of blue tape when we're closing in 21 days?
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. So we got to get that. That's perfect. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm glad that's getting done in the earlier because, when we order appraisals and things like that, they're coming back and saying, I need this, this, and this. And if there's, installing a fence, installing sod, and, doing all these different things, it does get, it could become problematic, but we don't really experience that. So that's great. Now, I did want to ask you, said you have how many communities out there with Kiella?
4.
You have 4 total communities. And our sales agents at Kiella, there's 3 right now. We got Jeff,
Yeah.
we have Jennifer, and we have Cheyenne,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, so man, y'all got a great group of people there,
Yeah. I love our team.
Yeah.
It's so good. Julie, who's helping us out for the summer, she's out at Hartrick right now. But eventually we'll have someone who at least mans the model home, even if that's me. But yeah, we've got such a great group of sales counselors, and they're all so experienced. They all have their own strengths that they play to, and teamwork makes the dream work. So.
We've heard that.
Yeah, we've heard
As
that.
you know.
Yes, and I get to work with those guys all the time. Of course, Nicole, we do. We get to work with them, and it is so funny. Each one of them have their, of course, different personalities, and but all of them fun and knowledgeable in their own way, and what they bring to the table. But every customer that we get to send over there, we just feel so comfortable, like they're gonna get taken care of. We don't even really worry about it. It's just like, okay, well, Jeff, this is happening, and Jennifer and Cheyenne, and that's it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I
y'all
love
did a great job.
Thank
Training and getting those guys up to speed.
Last minute showings. I mean, I'm probably notorious for that. Scheduling a last minute showing, and so I appreciate y'all's flexibility to get the doors open, and the houses always look great, clean, and so I appreciate y'all being available. So even if I'm going into a different, I see that sometimes I'm here in West Temple, but I need to go to Hartrick, which is on the other side of Temple. If I haven't scheduled it, someone's going to be there to open the door for me or make it happen. And so I appreciate y'all being able to do that. And that's really is teamwork, because it's not whether it's Jeff's job or Clarissa's job. It's just like the door will be open, Nicole, and so I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah, because a lot of times, you'll hear, well, I called so-and-so builder, but I couldn't get a hold of anybody. And that's when you have a buyer that's gone rogue, and they're like, oh, well, you know what, we want to throw this house in the mix, and we want to do this. It does throw the schedule off, like Nicole says, and so that can really, mess things up. But we want to be flexible, and we want to show them the homes, and you want to do all those things. But it's just nice to be able to call your team and say, hey, we're doing this, is it okay? And I don't think, the crazy thing, I don't think we've heard no.
Oh, I don't like no. Who likes no?
Nobody likes no.
No,
And this is why.
Do you hear that, Devin? Devin's my husband.
No, us girls, no. The no is not okay, never okay. It's not gonna happen. So far, so far no no's. So that's what a buyer could be excited about with Kiella, and I mean just in general, working with the right people. Hopefully you hear a few to no no's.
People to know. So I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come chat with us on our podcast, and giving us some time, giving us some knowledge, more knowledge about what your communities offer. And we just appreciate you.
Wait, you forgot to talk about the pool. The pool, you have a pool in what subdivision? Hills of Westwood offers a pool. Great amenity. I
so
mean,
does the Grove.
Yeah. Yes.
Both community pools. We love those.
I need the people to know that, because I'm like, I feel like right now, in the summer, it's 115 degrees. And so kids are out for school. You don't have to worry about it. We got a pool, just take the kids to the pool. I mean, this saves money.
So if you want to buy a home, if you want to build a home, call us. The team is here, and we can make it happen. And if you want to be in a home that has a pool, we know where to put you.
Yes, we do. Yes. Okay, thanks again, Clarissa. And my name is Cherie with Twins Realty Team.
And I'm Nicole on the same team. So I appreciate it, and y'all have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.